All right, Nightmares Nightly. Dude, I'm very happy to have you here, man, on a guest episode. For those of you that do not know who Nightmares Nightly is, I would imagine that you do know who he is, but if you do not know who he is, please go to his channel, like, subscribe, support him. He's a fantastic creator. He is a human creator, not AI at all. And he has some absolutely fantastic stories. Fantastic stories, fantastic creator. Now, in this episode, we're going to get into all of the stuff that everybody wants to hear about, right? The demonetizations, the things going on in the horror community, and all of the ongoing conversations that are occurring right now that are making big time waves. But before we get into some of that stuff, I do want to introduce Nightmares Nightly so that you guys can get an idea for who he is and what he does. So Nightmares Nightly, go ahead and tell us how you got into horror, man. Go ahead and tell us how you got into the narration space, a little bit about what you do and why you do it.
All right, yeah. So I've been narrating on YouTube for 5 to 6 years now. Voiceover work is something that I've wanted to do probably since I was, 12. But, you never know. Basically, you don't really get into the voice industry unless you know people. Now, thankfully, a lot of that has changed because people don't typically use agents anymore, or they don't go to big time studios. Technology has really just let you kind of do stuff in your own closet at this point, which is currently where I record. I'm just in my closet, blankets and pillows everywhere. Yeah, during 2020 or so, my cousin, he knows I've been wanting to do this stuff for years. We used to listen to creepypastas. Actually, I didn't really get into creepypastas until we were fishing one day. We love to go bass fishing. And he was telling me about the creepypasta by Rat Rotted, narrated by Dark Somnium, How to Survive in Hell. And we're fishing, and he gives me like the brief overview. And he's like, okay, but I don't want to ruin any more for you. So I went home that night and listened to it. And I was like, wow, I've been completely missing out on like this awesome, like cool, like horror niche. So I started listening to creepypastas back then. Probably also did like 5 years before, but it didn't stick, and there weren't many creators back then. And then for a year or two after that, I really wanted to do it, and I was too nervous to put myself out there. And my cousin just basically forced me to do it, and I started just recording stories into my phone. Laying down in my closet, recording into my phone, and then, uploading those like via Bluetooth or USB and then editing them. And then slowly but surely, going from my phone to a AT2020 USB microphone to the Rode NT1A that I have now.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's been a awesome ride since then. I've met some really cool people, talked to some awesome authors, and read some really, really cool stuff. One of my favorite authors is Elias Witherow, because he's got some of the most brutal, some of the craziest, but every single one of his stories also has some underlying like moral theme behind it also, or like real life problem that he puts into his stories.
Yeah, for sure. I dig all that brutal stuff too. Like I do a lot of OnlyFans stories and shit like that. So I like that a lot. One thing I wanted to ask you though, like, were you around the no sleep community at all previously, or were you just listening to YouTube stories online? Were you around any of those communities or no?
No. So I was one of the guys that was listening to creepypastas for probably like a year before I even knew no sleep existed. Because you don't know about it unless the narrator specifically throws it out there or you read the description.
Okay, so then in the beginning, how did you end up getting your stories? Did you start reaching out to people, or kind of, how did you get those relationships? Because I mean, obviously you've told, several hundred stories, you're still around, so no DMCA strikes. So how did you work that out?
Right. So when I first started listening to creepypastas, I didn't know that no sleep was a thing. But when I was interested in starting to narrate, that's when I kind of started to do some of that extra digging. And I'm like, okay, so where are the creators getting their stories? And then I look through the descriptions. And then by the time I became or started to become an author or a narrator, I was like, oh, they're getting them from the No Sleep subreddit. And then that's when I went to the No Sleep and I checked all the rules, read all of the copyright notices on the right-hand side, made sure that, it's very clear from the beginning that every author retains their IP for every story that's uploaded to the No Sleep subreddit. So when I read a story in my free time and then enjoyed it, I would go to the author's page, send them a message, tell them what I liked about what I read, and ask for permission to read either a specific story or a catalog of stories that they had open for narrators.
Tell me a little bit about like the look and feel of Nightmares Nightly, a little bit how you came up with that name. And then also, just from what I've seen, it almost looks like you have a little bit of a Slenderman-esque style to some of your branding. Tell me a little bit about that and how you kind of came about the name, and then how you kind of came about the way you differentiated yourself a little bit.
Right. So the name, it probably, from the moment that I wanted to start, but from the moment where I said, okay, I'm actually going to do it, I'm actually going to make a channel, I probably sat on this idea of coming up with a name for 2 to 3 weeks, because I know once you start a brand, you don't want to change it because that's just confusing. I wanted a name that you could kind of tell from reading it that it was going to be horror related and maybe creepypasta related. And I told myself, I am not going to put creepypasta in my name. I'm not going to be like Professor Pasta or it's cool, but it's a little corny. So I was like, I can't have pasta.
I forgot about Professor Pasta. I don't think he's uploaded anything in a really long time.
Man, 2 or 3 years maybe. And they're cool names, but I'm like, I don't want pasta in the name or creepy in the name. And then I told myself, I want something with alliteration. So I need 2 like-sounding words in it, back to back. And then I came up with, I was like, okay, Nightmares Nightly, Nightly Nightmares, or I was like Nightmares with something. And I was like, okay, well, my first name's Kevin, so nothing goes with K and N like that, so I can't put Kevin in there. So I was like, you know what? I think Nightmares Nightly in that order sounds better. And then I get my alliteration, and then you can tell it's horror related. And then the Slenderman-esque thing came around because, geez, how old is Slenderman now? Like 12 years old or something like that?
Like, it's been a while. I don't even know. Years.
I've been fascinated with the lore behind him ever since it came out. So I wanted something like a faceless guy reading a book in like a living room, bonfire or fireplace at night.
Yeah, I like the book touch to it. Jordan Group has a similar look with the book. He's going to be coming on as well. But I did notice that. I did notice the nod to Slenderman, so I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
And one thing about the differentiating is, unfortunately, you can't really differentiate yourself but so much in this niche. Like, you can do your logos differently and like your channel banner and stuff like that, but and this was something I had to put in my first appeal video, which got denied, but I've been reinstated, but it got denied at first, was every creepypasta has to follow like the same format or template in thumbnails. And I told them in the appeal, I was like, listen, I know all this stuff looks like a template, and in a sense it is, but that's because YouTube wants creators to be hyper specific in their niche. And, I always hear from YouTube channels how to grow, how to do this. You want your audience to know what the video is before they even click on it. And the entire, through just like-mindedness or however it happened, is the whole niche is image on the right, text on the left, with a mix of white and red. So if you want to know what a creepypasta is when you're scrolling through, oh, creepypasta, click it. You all have to follow that same look.
I totally agree with you. And we can actually get into the monetization stuff. I totally agree with you on the look and feel. That's one of the things that's really bothered me about this.
Because you can't change it, because then people won't click on your stuff because they won't know what it is.
Yeah, like in a lot of ways, I kind of feel like we've gotten to this place in the horror community because of the copycat culture. There is only so many different ways that you can enter and be different. You know, there isn't enough individuality. There isn't enough, and I'm not saying it's anybody's fault or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you know, text white and red. I mean, I guess you could play with some of the colors to a degree, but then you might lose out on discoverability.
I was about to
Image
say,
on the
yeah.
right.
Yep. You will destroy your discoverability if you change.
Image on the right. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that I've been like struggling with right now with, you know, like having to pivot, and we'll get into that in a minute, but it is a very oversaturated niche. I think we know that. And the AI folks are not going anywhere. It doesn't seem like right now, at least. There's been a lot of that. So, or pardon me, everything that you're saying, I couldn't agree more with. Let's talk about the demonetization situation now, though, because one thing that really interested me about your situation specifically is you are currently monetized. Your channel is currently monetized. You were demonetized, and then you got it back. Tell me about where you are right now. Tell me about what you think is going on. Let's start with what you think is going on in the horror community right now on YouTube.
Right. So a lot of it I kind of, not to like, you know, toot my own horn too much, but I noticed it right away, the pattern that the bot was going for the most part, which was, well, also too, I'm also wrong because, and I'll get to that in a sec. I thought that the bot at first was getting rid of AI channels, which, and it is to a degree. I thought it was hitting everybody, not because we use a template, and I put this in the first appeal, which was, I told the people who don't even watch the video, right? I told them, hey, I know my stuff, my thumbnails all look the same, blah, blah, blah. I know it looks like a template. And I said, I believe that my channel was caught up in the AI. And I'm like, it's not the real narrators who are looking like AI. I go, the AI is impersonating the real narrators. So that's why all of our stuff looks the same, because we have already the land and the thumbnail way we do things, and the AI is just copying what we do. So now we all look like AI. And that's why I thought a lot of us were getting caught up in the first place. Now, you know, especially after watching a lot of your videos, it doesn't seem like they're just getting rid of AI anymore. I noticed that with your videos, and then I noticed that when I just saw like completely random channels getting hit with either inauthentic content, and then I think another common label I see, I don't think it's mass produced, because I think that's also the same as inauthentic. But there's another label I've been seeing as well. We're all just kind of getting hit randomly. I've seen vloggers get hit with this stuff, and I'm like, how is a vlogger getting hit with inauthentic or repetitive content? If that's the case, every single YouTuber in existence gets hit with repetitive content, because you have to go into a niche. So obviously all of your content is going to be somewhat similar to what was added before. And then seeing history channels get hit, like history people who don't use AI. And I'm like, how are all these people getting hit? And with my situation, I just got an email, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago now, maybe, oh no, you know what? It might have been about 2 months from now. I got an email just saying, hey, you've been demonetized. And my thought was kind of like yours at first, like, oh, it's got to be a mistake. Of course, at first I was like, oh shit, what is going on here? I was a lot more nervous than you were in your video.
Yeah.
I was like, geez, he's chill about it. I was like, I had to freaking pull over. I was in my car.
Well, like I came downstairs, and it was in the morning, and I saw it because, you know, they send them out at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I leaned back in my chair, and I'm like, do I want to let this fuck my day up or not? I'm like, this is nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is not me. And, you know, obviously the saga went from there, but go ahead.
Well, and then one of the reasons why I got so nervous about it at first is because I saw that it happened to Vidith maybe a month and a half before me. I don't know exactly when Vidith got hit, but he was hit in like January or February. Because by the time they hit me, he had been hit for like 30 or 45 days already. And I was like, if he hasn't got his back, and he's an almost 100,000 subscriber channel, I was like, this doesn't look good for anybody. And I saw multiple other channels get hit before him. And that's when I was like, okay, so this has the opportunity to take away people's livelihoods for basically an indefinite amount of time. And then me, Vidith, and TJ were on a call a little while before that, speaking about, the moment it happened, I sent TJ an email, and this is before TJ's inbox was getting flooded. But because, the big wave has kind of happened within the past 30 days. It's kind of been making like a slow ramp up to what's been happening since, I don't know, April. And then we all kind of talked about it. And TJ got hit maybe a week after me or so. TJ's appeal mine was denied within like 12 hours. Now, I see everyone also too is complaining like, oh, there's not even a view on it. But I do think that I've just gone with the thought that their back end viewers just don't count as views. That doesn't seem far-fetched to me, even though I also don't think are real humans looking at this stuff.
Yeah, both of those theories could be true.
Yeah. And TJ's got overturned within like 24 hours. And then I think TJ actually got a real person to talk to in emails. And I think TJ might have put a couple names out on who else was hit. And I don't know if my name was, I think my name was in there along with a couple others. And then like 5 days after TJ's got reversed, I just got a random email saying, welcome to the YouTube Partner Program. And it wasn't even like, welcome back. It was really weird at first because it was almost as if I got an email the very first time I got monetized ever. And then it's like, here is your YouTube Help Center. Oh, welcome to memberships. Turn them on. It's all that weird stuff. Ever since then, and I'm incredibly grateful because YouTube also held the earnings for like 45 extra days because my channel kind of got hit like a week or two before payout. So then you miss all of that month and then the month before that, basically, because YouTube only pays you once a month for people that don't know, around like the 21st to 23rd. And then they pay you also a month late.
Right.
But ever since then, and I'm incredibly grateful to be remonetized, but with Chilling Tales getting hit a second time and then Chilling Tales getting denied, because Chilling Tales got hit, appealed, won the appeal, then like 2 weeks later got hit and then lost the appeal. And I'm like, so now I've had this freaking sword of Damocles hovering over my head ever since then, wondering when it's going to drop.
Well, let me ask you this before we get further into that. So the period between your demonetization to remonetization was how long approximately, did you say?
I want to say it was 7 to 10 days.
Okay, so it was over a week at that point in time then.
Yeah, or over a week or like right at a week.
How long has it been since you've been monetized?
Probably about 2 months, a month and a half.
What were you going through at that time? Were you frustrated? Were you contacting support? Were you trying to argue with them, or did you just kind of submit your appeal and let it be?
Well, it was very nerve-wracking at first because a couple of years ago, while I was also doing YouTube, I was going through the local police academy. I graduated in 2023 from 2024. I started in 2023. I graduated in 2024 from the police academy where I live. And then, 6 months of that, field training after all that. But in the middle of field training, YouTube started doing better. Views started getting higher. Subscribers, count started getting up. I graduated the police academy. And then when I was going through field training, YouTube started, kind of popping off a little bit after, 4 years of growing it. And I realized that I could leave the police force as a local deputy. I was doing DoorDash before, DoorDash, Uber, stuff like that. I was like, okay, I can leave this job and go back to working, 30, 40 hours of DoorDash and stuff like that. And then YouTube too. And then that kind of offsets, kind of keeps the salary roughly the same. And then me and my wife just bought a house, and then I got hit with the demonetization 2 weeks after closing or something like that. So that made it extra stressful. And then we also had a baby that was due. We actually just had our first baby like 4 days ago.
Oh, congratulations, man. That's excellent.
Thank you. It's been awesome. All that extra stress was added onto that. So I made the appeal video. Probably, I kind of wanted to relax a bit, not get too worked up about it. And then I wrote my script. I had to learn how to use like screen recording software. I think I like downloaded OBS or something. I wrote my script out, and then I probably shot the video like, I don't know, like 11 times because it needs to be 5 minutes or less. And I kept going like 5 minutes and 14 or like 5 minutes and 3 seconds because I just, you start to get passionate about it, and then you start yammering. And then I start off talking kind of regular, kind of slow. And then in the last 30 seconds, I started going like this, and I'm trying to get the rest of it out in time. But I made the appeal video, finally got it done, submitted it, and then got the rejection like 12 hours later. I was pretty sure I'd be fine because I showed them my real voice. I showed them, the editing techniques, going through Reddit, how I obtain author permission from every story that I record, all the screenshots and DMs and stuff like that. And then it got rejected. And then I'm like, okay, so now I got to either make enough fuss on Twitter, because that's where everyone says that you need to get a human reviewer from. And in some cases, it does work. Make fuss on Twitter, although I didn't have a Twitter, except a personal account. And then I went through YouTube creator support and just started talking to agents until I got one that sounded like a human, although they kind of all gave pretty AI-like responses. And then when you ask a question and then you get like a 10-word answer within like 2 seconds, you're like, that was too fast to be a person.
For sure. Like I recently had a chat with support 2 days ago, and they kept sending me appeal information. I'm like, that's not why I'm fucking contacting you right now. I'm not contacting you for appeal. I've already been denied 3 times like that, and so I think there is some question about who's on the other side of that messaging system for sure.
I think the majority of them aren't people. Even though I've asked specifically, am I talking to a human being right now? And they're like, yes, this is Jessica from Creator Support. I am a person. And I'm like, exactly what an AI would say. But I guess that's what a person would say too. Yeah. But I kind of just kept doing it until probably 3 or 4 chats with different support agents. And then someone said that they escalated my appeal to a higher division or something like that. And it was in between talking to TJ and him getting TJ's channel back and then me getting my escalation back. My appeal got overturned to correcting the monetization again.
Okay, and let me ask you this just for clarity so that everybody listening can understand. Did you do anything to your channel in between that time? Did you private any videos, unlist any videos? There's been speculation about that upon reapply. Did you make changes or did you leave it alone? Did you drop another story in the interim? Like, explain to me that process while you were going through that from demonetization to reappeal.
So there's so many different schools of thought on this because there has been absolutely no transparency at all with YouTube. Just even when I got the channel back, they didn't even tell me. It was just an automated message welcoming me to the program. No agent or email from a person of any kind. So no one actually really knows what to do. And there were no changes that I could make to the channel because I'm like, I have 670 videos. And the format obviously is the same because we're narrating horror stories. The thumbnails are all this. So I'm like, the only changes I could make would be if every video was deleted, basically. Which I would not do. And then I've seen some people speculate on privating videos, but then I've also seen, counter speculation saying, if you do get hit, don't private too many videos at once or don't do too many because that's another flag that goes to the system. Because some people were thinking about doing that before their channel got hit. And it's like, well, if you do it before you get hit, that can also send a flag to the bot. And none of us know what this junkyard bot's going to do. So I just said, there's no change I can do to make my channel really different. So I left all the videos up there. The one thing I have done going forward is changing the background. Like, I think the biggest reason all the human creators were getting hit at first is because no one, physically typically watches the video because there's no content to watch. So we all put the thumbnail up and that's the video. And I think that's the biggest flag that the bot has, is when you just have a still image on the background, especially if the image is the thumbnail. So that's what I changed. And I've been going to, Pixabay and stuff like that and just getting random videos to play in the background. So hopefully that shakes things up a little bit and makes it a little less hard. But like you were saying in some of your videos, is I don't want to play the fucking stealth game over here.
Yeah.
And try to not get hit. But we don't really know exactly what's doing it in the first place. And there's only so much you can do.
I'm right there with you. I think we all are, right? Like, that's just not how I am. I don't want to like hide in the corner from this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Trying to wait to get demonetized again. I just don't like it, the whole thing. And I am still actively looking for a solution. I think everybody knows that. If I had a solution right now, I would return to regular scheduled programming. I would start uploading again. Some of the stuff I've seen online about channel termination and those sorts of things, it worries me, even if it's extreme, just because I've already been punished, basically. I've already been suspended. I didn't take anything of mine down either because I didn't think I did anything wrong. I'm a human narrator, same as you. I don't use AI and any AI voiceovers or anything like that. And I just said, I'm leaving it up. But to your point earlier, something you said jogged my memory. It does say in the reappeal, only reappeal if you haven't deleted anything. But it doesn't say only reappeal if you haven't private or unlisted. So that's something that's been of discussion. Like, can you private things? Can you enlist things?
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, will that change the look and feel? But again, for our niche, I don't know. I mean, if you want me to private, 100 or 200 videos, is that going to change? Is that going to change it? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to change it. You know what I'm saying? Same for your case. If you've got 600 or 700 videos and you private half of them, is that really going to change it? I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then you're asking somebody that has, around that amount of videos, you're asking someone to basically, because privating is deleting without deleting, because now no one can see it. You're asking someone to erase, like, I don't know, I got 670 videos. So what is that? Like, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 hours of work over the years.
It's a lot.
Maybe more than that. Because, when you record an hour long, a lot of my videos are 45 to an hour. And then when you record an hour long story, well, I record pretty quick and I punch and roll at it now. So an hour story can be like an hour and 25 minutes of reading. But
yeah.
But then it's thumbnail, try to make the thumbnail. I can spend 4 hours on a thumbnail sometimes. Not often, but, probably around an hour on average. And then it's exporting the video. And then one thing that sucks too, and this is just random, I love using music from Mayu, or excuse me if I'm mispronouncing his name, Mayu.
No, it's Mayu. Yeah, it's Mayu. Yeah.
A lot of like BS companies will go out there and copyright his music. So I don't know if you've caught this at all, but I'll upload some videos with Mayu. It's like Centaura Publishing. And I'm like, who are you? It's falsely claiming a lot of Mayu stuff. And a 2-hour video can take now I'm messing with Adobe a little bit, but on my old software, 2 hours can be like an hour to export, then an hour and a half to upload. And then one song gets claimed for 30 seconds. And then you got to go all the way back to the original copy, delete it, export it again, upload it again. It gets, it takes a lot of these videos take a lot of time, and some don't take a lot of time, but there's thousands upon thousands of hours for a lot of creators to just vanish.
I totally agree. I quit using Kevin MacLeod's sound. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but because of that, because I kept putting in songs.
So you noticed that thing too.
I'd get a copyright on it, yeah, and it'd say, well, you have to share either you don't get paid for this at all,
yeah,
or you have to forward all the money from this to the copyright holder. But to your point, it does take several hours. it doesn't take 15 or 20 hours like some of these AI people are talking about. But, you know, if I were to read an hour-long story, say it takes me an hour and a half, I'm going to play it back to make sure I didn't make any mistakes or edit my breath out of certain areas or however I messed it up. That's going to take the same amount of time that it took me to read it. So now I'm double time. You know, then you've got to do the thumbnail, the description, all that other stuff. I mean, you could have, you know, 4 or 5, you know, after then you got to get the music in. You could have, you know, 4 to 5 hours, maybe 6, if it's an hour-long story. You know, I think that's reasonable. So that's a lot. I mean, if you've done, I don't even know what the math is, but if you've done 600 stories, or I've done 400, 500, you have some of our other peers have done 1,000 stories, that's a lot of hours to just strip somebody of monetization. I mean, when they weren't breaking the rules to begin with at all.
And then with no guarantee that privating does a damn thing at the same point, you know?
Yeah, totally. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, let me ask you this. Now that you are back into monetization, how are you feeling going forward? How are you feeling about what's going on? I mean, obviously there's a lot of things going on right now. What's kind of your reaction to everything going on right now?
Unfortunately, it's very bleak because I'm basically just like, all right, let's hope I don't get hit by the next wave of the bot, you know? So I've basically been working and living life as if the whole thing's just going to be taken away again anyways.
Okay, so you're feeling like long-term it's not going to work out.
I've been leaning that way. I think, you know, maybe who knows how long it takes. Maybe regular human creators do come back and do get remonetized, but absolutely nothing has been pointing in that direction when I see creator after creator every day and in different niches. I mean, I saw a guy, he had like a jet, like an army jet review channel, you know, that got hit. And he was doing cool videos about army jets, like fighter jets. And I'm like, even people like this are getting hit? It's weird. And then what makes me pessimistic for the future is their guidelines. And you break this down a lot better than I do in your videos, but their guidelines literally apply to every single creepypasta horror narrator on the platform. Text exclusively from websites like Reddit or internet forums. That's everybody. And then there are channels too, and this is what makes it even more bleak, is I know of channels out here in the horror niche where they are narrating stories that only they have written and that they have not posted to the internet. So it means that the bot is hitting things that aren't just transcribing Reddit links or whatever. People who have never posted their stories publicly are getting hit under the same criteria. So it's like this policy is just, it's too broad. It could be applied to every single channel on YouTube, at least in our niche.
I couldn't agree with you more. And because you just said that, I do want to just bring up Jordan. Jordan has published several books himself, literally. And he writes his own stories. And he is currently demonetized and he was not able to recover it. Absolutely disgusting. To your point, you know, the narration piece of it, right? Like if you're reading your own work and you're still getting taken down, that's a big red flag to me. I haven't covered that. Maybe I should cover that in one of my other episodes. But let me ask you this, because you do bring up another thought and something that people have been talking about. Obviously, the YouTube creator ecosystem is huge. We're talking about millions of creators, multi-millions of creators. In the horror niche, and it doesn't even have to be horror, why do you think that some creators are being taken down, but others are not? And when basically the formats and the templates are the exact same, even the same stories in certain cases. What's your opinion on that?
Dude, that's a hell of a good question, man. It's something I've been wondering this whole time. These demonetizations rolled out they've been in other communities for longer than ours. Every single one I hear about, you know, people always bring up the Warhammer stuff, which happened like 6 to 8 months ago with them.
Yeah, the Warhammer stuff, that was huge. Yeah. Although
I've watched a lot of those Warhammer lore videos because I'll listen to them while driving, and a lot of them are purely like AI David Attenborough voices. But I've listened to a few of them because it's something to listen to on long car rides. But they got hit a long time ago, and then we started to get hit. And in terms of why some and not others, I don't know, man. Maybe it's something that, you know, if you want to take, and this isn't a political thing, it's like if you want to take rights away from somebody, you slowly roll it out, you know? And the same thing kind of applies to this is you slowly start rolling this program in to where people, because if you do it too much and too fast at once, you'll make a huge fuss. But if you slowly roll it out or slowly test it, especially with some of the smaller guys, it's not that big of a deal because it happens over 3 or 4 months. So it is really weird that some are getting hit, some are not. And you know, I thought it was just the small guys getting hit at first until I've heard from other people that, you know, some of the big guys actually have been getting hit. They're just been quiet about it. I was completely wrong. I thought big guys would never get hit. Apparently it's been happening from some people I've been talking to. So that's another weird thing that I don't know the answer to. It's almost just hitting, you know, throws 10 darts at the board and hit 7 people, and then 3 people are left, then give 2 of them monetization back. So now you got 5 left out of the 10. And then it's not enough of a fuss to do much about it or to get people really riled up. Although I see the comments in everybody's videos, like, I can't believe this is happening. The YouTube community has been super awesome. I see people all the time in comments. I've been sending YouTube emails. I've seen some people say I've written YouTube letters, and I'm like, it's super awesome how a lot of the community too, because a lot of us have all of the same audience, you know. I look at my comments and then your comments and Jordan's comments and TJ's, and I'll see the same people floating around in all of these. So it's starting to make a bit of a fuss now, thankfully.
What did you think of some of the Reddit episodes that I posted? Had you seen that previously or heard that talked about? Because I was under the impression that the information that I had and the post that I saw and ended up covering in one of my episodes was unique. But then once I got on Twitter, I saw tweets that were from like a week prior to my episode. So apparently it was already making the rounds. And actually, Raven Reeds had tweeted about it as well. And she was demonetized prior to me. She had specifically talked about the Reddit stuff on X, so like in public. Did you see that anywhere? Or did you hear about that anywhere? Or what was your thoughts about it when I posted as well? You know, all the information that was in that episode. What was your thoughts on that?
So what's been really strange to me, well, and I guess it's not strange, is I watched that video and I actually saw that exact thread that Sephi Wins was in before you posted the video, because I've been hanging around like the partnered YouTube, small YouTubers, you know,
Sure.
I hang around those forums a lot, and I've seen some of the stuff go around where people are posting, I just got demonetized. I don't know why. Can someone help me? And in a lot of these, I guess because it hasn't fully gone into the widespread community genre yet, or the widespread YouTube net, the big things is it's been mainly focused in horror narration in general, animation, and Blender videos. And I guess it is because a lot of that can be easily copied by AI. So those are the ones getting heavily hit right now. So it hasn't gone to like big channels yet, or like regular kind of, you know, channels. So people have been posting their stuff, and then they've just been getting like flamed and roasted. You know, people will just jump on the attack right away, and they're like, oh man, you're only getting demonetized because your channel is AI slop. And meanwhile, the person either didn't post their channel, which, you know, you should if you want to critique, but people will immediately jump onto that, or they do post their channel. And I'm like, half the people don't go to the channel. They just add in their 2 cents without saying anything. And because a lot of people aren't in these specific communities, they don't know that regular people are getting hit. So a lot of I don't know, Reddit's a weird place, man. Like, people will just pile on people without going and doing any shred of evidence. And then they've been just believing that YouTube, in my experience from the comments I've seen, a lot of people are like blissfully ignorant, or they've been thinking that YouTube is actually a benevolent overlord that would never demonetize real human people. So a lot of what I saw on these pages, on Reddit specifically, because I'm not on Twitter, is people just like roasting people the moment they mention demonetization. But a lot of them aren't in the niches that we are, where you and I have seen dozens of real humans get hit now, and I guess they're just not used to it because it hasn't hit them yet. So it's been strange that way. Yeah.
Yes, I think part of that, I think a lot of that is possibly other YouTube creators that are enjoying this, that are thinking, okay, finally, some of these people are gone, get rid of them, more views for me kind of thing. But to your point, what people are missing is that real humans are actually getting picked off right now for this stuff. I think in our niche, what's especially concerning is the way that policy is written. I mean, with line 1 being exclusively reading material that you did not create, I mean, that's a big concern for narrators. Yeah, like, I don't know what the Webster Dictionary definition of narration is, but I would imagine it's pretty close to that top bullet, reading material that you did not create, or however you want to say it. But then also the music, right? You can't use music you didn't create. I think that was probably to target like Music GPT or other AI music technology where you can generate, there's a lot of people that post ASMR videos for an hour, 2 hours, or 10 hours, right? And they get that stuff from music and AI things that they're generating and uploading it. So YouTube says, okay, no more of that. Well, where is the line then? Because apparently now that means that I can't use music that I bought then and have a license for, just like I can't read these stories, just like I can't read these stories that I bought and I have a license for. Like, I have agreements with Velox Books, other publishers. This is, even if I didn't write it, this is my shit. I own it. I bought a limited license, so that stuff is very concerning. Let me ask your questions on the AI stuff, because you and I had chatted about this a little bit in the lobby before we got started. How do you think this AI situation is going to play out? Do you think some of the folks that are in our niche are going to stop? Do you think this is going to continue? If it does continue, what do you think YouTube is going to do? I mean, how do you think this is going to play out on the AI side of things?
It is, I don't know. It's really tough, man, because I think I feel like they've just been going about it the wrong way. I feel like the easiest solution YouTube could have done was just ban 11 Labs voices. Because when you look at like
100%, I second that. Yeah.
Yeah. And YouTube right now is getting like destroyed. Like Shorts is not making YouTube money, but it's taking up a huge amount of the platform. And you cannot scroll. If you scroll through 10 YouTube shorts, 7 of them were, have you heard about the whole flight down in Louisiana? Like that one, you 7 of them are AI, or 11 Lab voices. 7 out of 10 are AI generated, or, a lot of, and YouTube does need to do something about this. They do need to crack down on the AI, because people don't even know what's real or not anymore. People go to a channel and they think, because we're so jaded at this point, people think some creators are immediately AI, even though they're not. So YouTube does need to crack down on it, especially on the content farms, because I've seen people talk about how one person can create 10 YouTube channels and then upload, 10 videos a day on each channel, make a ton of money, and then eventually they get banned. They can do it so easily. They make their 10 or 20 grand real quick, get banned and move on and do something else. So YouTube did need to do something about it, but I don't know why they couldn't just target 11 Lab voices or whatever other AI voices are out there. It doesn't look good right now. Right now, Spotify seems to be the biggest thing. But as you alluded to in one of your videos, Spotify is going to have to do some shit, because the same problem is going to happen to them. I started uploading to Spotify 4 or 5 months ago. I should have done it when I first started YouTube. Everyone else, everyone that gets hit, everyone that gets demonetized, even the AI channels that I know are AI are saying, follow me on Spotify. That's where I've moved to. And you're always told never put your eggs in one basket as a YouTube creator, but there is only one basket, really, and it's YouTube. You do have, now Spotify is growing. Patreon's there, but you can never really expect to make a living on Patreon as a horror narrator because, you need a lot more money than is out there and in the community for that. Plus, people have 10 favorite narrators they listen to. I would never ask someone to be like, come support me when you're already supporting 4 other people, So it looks like Spotify is the biggest alternative. And people throw out, upload to Rumble. It's like, okay, Rumble is 90% political. You're not listening to creepypastas on Rumble. Although that may actually blow up eventually for this, who knows, depending on how long YouTube wants to keep this up. But I think a lot of creators are just going to slowly fizzle out, especially the smaller ones who weren't making too much to begin with. So they're like, oh, this was kind of a passion, but I was making $100 a month and I wanted to keep growing, but now I got hit with this. Who knows how long it'll last? And people will eventually fizzle out, while I think a lot of the medium to big size guys probably just stick through it if they ever turn course and then YouTube lightens up. But it does not look like that's the case at all.
Well, one thing that's been particularly interesting about the AI channels, and I have noticed this, and I would encourage anybody listening to check this yourself. I may even do a standalone episode on all of the things that I've found to support this, but it's not the existing horror narrators that are AI that are my concern at this point, because a lot of them, just like Nightmares Nightly said, has been demonetized. It's all the up and coming ones. There are hundreds, thousands of them that have that are trying to get monetized, that have 200 subs, 500 subs. The amount of newcomers in our space is jaw dropping.
And
it's
people
incredible.
That have great talent too, that you would want to see
that too.
Grow.
Yep, that too. So you have all these people. The point that I'm making is that these creators, the AI ones, for example, haven't learned their lesson yet. They haven't been demonetized. They are currently thinking, I am on the path to monetization. I need to get 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs. Well, they could go on doing this for months until they figure out that they're not going to get monetized or however it goes. Well, you're still going to have all those people continuing to flood YouTube over that period of time. It's not going to stop. And so that's another thought. But to your point about Spotify, I just wanted to comment on that. That is a thought that I had, and I do think that eventually Spotify may have to do something, because all of these people are now going from YouTube to Spotify. And I'm not sure when this episode is going to drop, if it's going to be this week or next week, but I have a video coming out on Sunday that my news stories are going to be going to Spotify and maybe Rumble. Spotify for sure.
You have to at this point, because it's the only actual viable alternative. There's literally nothing else. It's YouTube, Spotify, maybe the few people there are people on Amazon and Apple, iTunes and stuff like that. It's the only other place to go, really.
Well, I like to tell my stories around the campfire ambience. I like the campfire ambience and I like the sounds that it makes. I'm old school, like I've said in some of my videos. Now you have YouTube saying, well, that's inauthentic. It's a ridiculous.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. Oh, dude, about the B-roll?
That email was crazy. Yeah, the B-roll. What? And even what I just started doing was taking the Pixabay stuff and looping taking 20 different clips and looping them. But I'm like, I know that shit's going to get caught. That's why this stuff, who gets hit and who doesn't, makes no sense.
That's what I'm saying. So either, I don't know. I'm not going to. It's a ridiculous.
You need to describe the campfire if that's what you're going to show.
Commentate the scene. The scene has to go with it and this and that. It's a ridiculous argument. I'll make a very simple argument to prove my point. It would be like saying hamburgers can't be served on buns anymore. That's how they're served. They're served on hamburger buns.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how. And next thing you know, I'm a hamburger restaurant, and you're a hamburger restaurant, and so's a hamburger, and there's tons of us, and we all make burgers, but we have our different style, our different recipe, and then you get the government to come in and say, yeah, but you're not getting paid if you're selling them on burgers anymore. It's inauthentic. That's utterly ridiculous. And same thing with scary stories, creepypasta. If you want,
a lot of people don't like music.
No, yeah, I mean,
a lot of people like
what
you said. They like the campfire or the light rain in the background.
The rain's another one. Yep, and I like it too. I've listened to them that way too. I mean, to start saying, well, now this is the genre, this is the standard. These are how these stories are told. Now they're they weren't inauthentic yesterday. Now they're inauthentic today.
Even though the policy has been there technically for a while, but now they randomly want to start enforcing that.
Yeah, well, the policy, I think, has changed a little bit because originally they said last year that it was just going to be a minor tweak. And these 5 bullets, this was not what was in the policy last June that they put out. It's not that way at all. And to your point, the demonetization waves have gotten more and more aggressive. I do think it's cooled off already again. I'm not seeing as many people. Yep, I'm not seeing as many people carrying on X, YouTube, Reddit. I've been demonetized. It feels like it's cooling off again. But the reports and people that are paying attention to it are saying that you're going to see more in June, July, and August. I theorized in one of my episodes that it could be a 90-day rolling thing just based on what we saw in horror. Right. But other people are saying it could start getting way jacked up end of summer for all. Well,
how often do you, because I feel like it's roughly once every 3 to 4 weeks. How often do you, because that's what my feed looks like on YouTube. What do you think what do you feel like it is?
To be totally honest with you, man, I've only been paying attention to it for like the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I'll tell you why. I did see the demonetization videos like you had talked about with Mr. Spook and Bidith and TJ and Dusklight and all that. But I honestly didn't think anything of it, like at all. I was like, that's obviously a big mistake. They're going to get,
remember when Nature's Temper got hit like 3 or 4 years ago and it was actually a mistake?
Yeah. It was like 2022 or 2021, something like that. You're right. Yep. Yeah. And so I really was not like tapping into it at all. I honestly, I had my blinders on. I continued dropping stories the whole time. And then I started seeing like videos popping up in my feed that were not horror. It was like a guy that was like a mechanic or something. I can't even remember what it was. He was like, I've been demonetized. And then I started seeing them all over the place, different niches. Yeah. And then a couple weeks after that, maybe like a week, I got the email. And I didn't realize that the email was demonetization. I didn't connect the two. I just saw an inauthentic content email.
Right.
So I was like, well, no, that's
maybe it's
not
a specific video or something, or
yeah. I was like, oh, well, that's not me. I do my own characters. I've got, unique stories. I've got licenses for everything. It's all by the book. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even tripping about it at all. That's why I said, like, when I came downstairs in the morning, I had a coffee. I'm like, how pissed do I want to be about this today? I don't know if I don't know if I want this to bother me or not. And then it started to. Then it started to. I started.
Well, thank goodness like, you started getting bothered, because now we got a bunch of videos about it now. And
I've been teeing off, dude.
and really,
I've been teeing off because it's a whole different format. I'm not narrating. I'm cutting it off the top. You know what I mean? Like
from the people that got hit, it's like one video, and then they don't talk about it, which is me too. I made one video about it and then whimpered out. But you've been just gassing it up, man. I love it.
Well, it's you're put in a position. You're put in a fucked up spot because
you don't want to talk shit about your boss.
Well, it's not just that, but it's like we're horror narrators. My audience does not want to hear me carry on about this for months.
Right. Yeah.
That's going to have some airtime, but eventually the show must continue. And obviously that's why I'm announcing that I'm going to have new stories on Spotify and video here soon. Maybe this will come out before that or after. I'm not sure. now if I'm trying to get back into YPP, I do not believe I can get back in at this point without a change. It's been appealed and denied enough times. Now that I'm trying to pivot my content, one of the things that's heavily on my mind is this situation. And it's on a lot of our minds in horror. A lot of the horror creators are, thinking about it, talking about it. So I thought, well, an easy pivot for me to get to is just to start the podcast and just start right now. Start today. Start talking about this stuff. Start, and then it's taking shape, and it has been taking shape. Obviously, I'm going to have other horror creators on, other writers. I'm finding enough ways to shape the podcast in the future so that I can ultimately apply under the podcast. That's my intention. Like the stories that are on my channel, they'll be gone in 90 days, all of them. I'm going to reapply strictly on the podcast. It's going to be the episodes.
So explain to me what do you mean by on the podcast? Like, but same Grinless channel?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it Mr. Grinless. I've thought about rebranding some of like the look and feel a little bit. I'm going to continue doing scary stories for sure on Spotify, maybe on another platform as well. I might even drop them on my channel if I could figure out a way to not get demonetized again, basically. Like I'm still looking at that. I'm still looking at options because the time between suspension is like a quarter of the year every time you do it.
It's insane. Well, that's a huge amount. If you get hit a second time, that's half a year.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mr. Spook, he's going through that right now. He's already been rejected a second time, he got demonetized, then he appealed the 90 days and they rejected him again. That's what I'm saying. I talked about that in one of my episodes about case studies here. We're going to start to see some of these guys that aren't, and I'm not trying to sell anybody on it, but if you've been denied and nothing changes, what would make you think you're going to get it back in 90 days?
Yeah.
And so now if I had a bulletproof recipe to put out the stories here to where I didn't have to worry about it, I would do it. But then everybody else would be doing it too, because we have a copycat culture in horror narration. Everybody, I don't think the B-roll is enough to change it. I mean, Darkness Prevails, who was nearly a 1 million sub channel, got demonetized. He posted the email about that, so I think that you're still playing with fire. I just don't want to continue stressing out about it anymore. So I'm going to do the episodes, and I may even drop shorts off like, hey, because I need to do shorts as well. I may even start dropping shorts about stories like, yo, such and such rule story is up on Spotify. Here's the short, and start directing my traffic. If you want to hear the story, you need to go to Spotify. If you want to hear me, if you want to hear one of my crazed rants, then you can get that. Because this is going to be an ongoing thing, man. This is probably going to be ongoing for the balance of the year. I'll probably be able to go on about this for months, I mean, what's your plans? Like, what if you were to get demonetized again? How are you going to go about that? Like, what are you going to do?
I mean, unfortunately, the only thing income-wise I have at this point, other than YouTube, if YouTube's taken away, it is Spotify. But I foresee them doing a similar cull in 3 to 6 months or a year, because what is the currency around here? It's data, it's storage. That's why YouTube's doing this. They have so much data being uploaded every single second that they have to do something. And then if everybody just moves to Spotify, their centers are going to get overwhelmed, and they're going to have to do the same thing. So other than that, it's supplement with Patreon. I should have been doing other voiceover work a while ago. It's something I need to do. Maybe get on like Fiverr or something. Try to get on like I'm on Amazon ACX currently, but the problem with that is you look at the Amazon books, and half of them are like self-help AI books, literally. And then the other half, or the other quarter, are like, yeah, so this is the book, it's 8 hours long, and it's royalty share, So you get a cut, you get 20% of every sale. And no, I don't have a promotion plan. I might only sell 5 copies. And then the other ones are like, okay, yeah, here's an 8-hour book for $50 per finished hour. And it's like, at that point, you're almost working minimum wage, because if you want to narrate a book, you have to at least read the whole book first, because you need to get the feel of a book on how to voice things. When you're doing a book, you need a whole character spreadsheet, character sound files, who sounds like what. So an 8-hour project on an audiobook turns out to be like, 40 hours or something like that of work. It's way more work than a YouTube project is. So the only thing I see is Spotify. I don't know how, I don't have plans to change the channel, although to some degree I should. I guess the only thing YouTube-wise is to ride it out. Right now I've decided we also don't know what even triggers the Junkyard bot. It's like, does it look at every new video you upload to determine, or does it just once every 3 or 4 weeks scan everyone's back catalog and make a decision? We don't know. So I've been posting like, 1 video every 5 days on YouTube. And then, because I tried to post 15 videos a month, every other day, regular scheduled videos go to Patreon, and then like 1 video a week to YouTube right now.
Well, a couple things on that, a couple thoughts. There is a horror creator that I know right now that I don't want to say their name, that is demonetized, and he has subs in the 6-figure range. He hasn't taken his stories down. He did talk to a YouTube partner manager, and they told him that he could have it back if he took all of his stories down. He's not doing that because he's trying to get a voice job, some voice work. So he needs the portfolio to stay up, Right. So that's kind of the other thing. But, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's in a different situation. Some are worse off than others. Others are not. I do think, to your point, Spotify is going to have to do something. There's no way that they can get this amount of data, and it's tons. I mean, there's so many people moving over there, and not come out with some policies of their own. First of all, especially
flooded.
Yeah, especially with AI, because AI can like crank out stories so fast. Like, you can bang out 2 to 3 hour story in a fraction of the time it takes you or I to do it. And so that's one thing. What about, would you continue to upload even if it's for free? Like if you didn't want to pivot to a podcast or do, whatever, something different, pardon me, would you just move your stuff to Spotify, but continue to just basically upload no ads videos on your YouTube channel?
That is such a tough question for me, because it goes on the fact that YouTube basically says, fuck you guys. You can't have ads on your video. You can't get paid for ads on your videos, but we're going to run that shit and pay ourselves. So it's like,
I know.
So the video isn't fit to be monetized, but you're going to monetize it, So I want to, at that point, basically you would just be uploading to YouTube for exposure. Just how, like you said, uploaded the podcast to get exposure for your other content on another site. But it's like, but in the same time, it's like these guys are taking the money, because they run less ads, but they still run ads. And, I don't begrudge YouTube, but, 100%, because they are still holding all this content in a server somewhere. But how are you going to demonetize someone and then just take all the money? You already take 50% of the ads and like 45% of memberships or whatever it is anyways. I had an optimistic view about this for a long time, for months, thinking, oh, there's just going to be a lot of collateral damage for a while, and YouTube will sort it out. But every time I listen to one of your shows and I hear about an email, like what you just said, I'm like, you're telling me they told a big creator you need to delete your back catalog?
Yeah.
Then that means everyone has to. And it also sounds like some people would just, maybe even the YouTube reps don't even know what the hell is going on, because some people are getting reinstated, like myself, TJ Vitteth, And some people are getting told by real reps that they speak to personally, you need to delete your channel, basically. You need to delete all your
pretty
videos.
much everything. Yeah.
So that tells me, from a real rep, that tells me that that just tells me that the niche is dead. Like, and maybe they had bad information, but also that, I mean, that I can't even put it into words, man, because it's so crazy sounding, because that just says narration is gone.
It could be. It could be. I mean, it's faceless in a lot of cases. It's essentially reused content because you're reading material that you didn't write. The music you can't use because it's not yours. I mean, you could do it, but you would have to be, I mean, you would basically have to make movies, plays, you'd have to have a production team. You'd have to make, everything would have to be.
And it would have to be
scratch.
live action because it started with animators first. And, well, kind of like Warhammer guys, then the whole entire animation. You're talking like people that do like a 2-minute video and they take like 25 hours to make by hand. I don't know if what you've seen, but I saw animation people get hit who put like 50 hours a week into their channel, not using AI assisted things, which, by the way, YouTube wants you to use AI tools. Weird. But I saw them getting hit. So it's like, what can you do now? Blender guys getting hit? The amount of work Blender people put into a video?
Yeah, Blender
doesn't make any sense.
Crazy. It could take you like 8 hours to do a 2-minute thing and then like 30,
just to render it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's insane. Like I talked to a guy about that one time and he was like, dude, it takes like 40 hours to render like a 2-minute clip. Like we were actually talking about that Kane Pixels, the guy that does the backroom stuff. Yeah. He told me it would take like 40 hours to do like like you can't even do it on your own device. Like you have to send it to a third party. Wow. There's subscription. Yeah. There's like I mean, I really don't know anything about it. I'm not a Blender creator or anything, but he told me that you have to like send the clip to like another website and then pay them. And then they get back to you in like a week and they'll give it to you. Like for like, 5-minute video, basically. So it's so much that goes into it.
Yeah. So it's like, it looks like, I mean, it looks to me like it's just done. And then maybe it slowly fizzles out.
When did it kind of start to change for you though? Because you are monetized. I mean, you did win on reappeal. So what kind of shifted in terms of you feeling like maybe this isn't as safe as I thought it was?
So, I thank God that I did get remonetized because that was a huge stress. And I'm still stressing because my optimistic side told me, okay, YouTube is banning bots. They're banning 11 Labs. They're banning ChatGPT. They're banning all these things. They're banning the real content farms. We all look the same because we all use thumbnails for the background and we all use the same thumbnails. So I thought regular people will get hit. And then I thought if you appeal, and then if you won your appeal, I was hoping, I had no evidence for this, but I was like, oh, maybe if you win your appeal, YouTube puts like a little green flag on your account, That's what I was hoping. So what really turned for me was, I hope that, I thought they might call it this way, hit a bunch of people, and then the ones that really fight to get their channel back and do the appeal and go through the process, those are the ones that are really doing it, because a lot of the content farms don't even appeal because they don't care because they can make so much content, so they just move on. I was like, maybe they just hit a bunch of people, regular people fight to get their stuff back, then it gets reviewed, then they get it back, then you get a little green check mark, ding, don't demonetize this guy again. I was hoping in my brain that that's what would happen. And then what flipped it was when Chilling Tales, a creator who's like he's been on this for over a decade, when he got demonetized, remonetized, and then demonetized again, then I was like, oh shit, there it goes. There goes whatever little fantasy optimism that I had. And then I think I've seen one or two others, but I'm forgetting their names because there's just so many now. When I saw people who won get hit again, I was like, all right, from now on, I need to act like demonetization happens any second.
Yeah, it's a concern. It's a concern. I mean, just the size of the creators that have been taken offline with huge followings and not been able to get it back, it's been very surprising for me. I like I said, I mean, I really didn't think anything of this. I not at all. Not when I saw people in our community get hit a few months ago. Not when I got the email. I do feel a lot differently about this now. And again, I'm still looking for a solution. I'm waiting for someone to pop out. We did have 30 people in my poll that feel that this is going to work out. I would love to hear from them. I don't know that I'm going to.
I voted on that. I think I voted man. Well, two of them I wanted to vote for both, but I think I ended up picking more demonetization coming because it's been happening like every month for like 4 months now. And every month that goes by, it feels like it's more. Because when Vidith got hit, not many people, he was one of the earlier ones, not many people got hit when he did.
Yeah.
And then a bunch
which is why I thought it was a fluke, which is why I thought it was nothing. Fluke, mistake.
Yeah. And I was happy when they first started doing this, I was cheering it. I was like, yes, finally, YouTube is doing something about this shit.
Yep.
Because you can't click on, like, you want to find a new creator, right? So you're going through your suggested videos when you watch a big guy, right? And then you go through suggested. I'm like, all right, who doesn't have a lot of views, right? Who's a name I haven't heard of? And then I click on it, and I'm like, oh, AI trash. Click on another one, AI trash. Like, where are the genuine ones? There's so many now that I was super stoked when they started. And then now I'm like, oh, shit.
So for you, though, if you get hit again, you're thinking you're going to move to Spotify, maybe some other platforms. And in terms of continuing to upload on YouTube, it's either you will with the same format and just not get paid for it, or you might just leave it alone for a period of time, basically leave the channel alone.
Well, from everything that I've seen is like not uploading is like the death of a channel.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So like I would have to at least do one video a week or something like that. Plus,
but I mean, you would do it for free though. You would do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying yeah. I mean, yeah. However you feel about it. Okay.
Yeah. I would do it for free. It's like I worked 6 years to build this audience up, and a lot of people think, or maybe YouTube thinks, that we don't add a lot of value, but look in the comment section of any video. And then I do a lot of horror, but I do a lot of feels pastas, some depressing, but a lot of the ones are like depressing throughout with like that sliver of light at the end. And shit, man, some of the comments that I've gotten about them crying have made me want to cry almost. Because I'm like, I can't believe that I could have an impact like this just reading a story on the internet, through somebody.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up. That was another thought that I had. I was actually going to put out a horror health check video. It might sound kind of corny, but it was really just, in one of my episodes, it was really just about keeping your head up, man. I think one of the reasons why this feels like such a gut punch is because of how, basically what you just said. You have YouTube basically telling us that this has no value, that your work has no value. We're not going to pay you for it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's hurtful. Now maybe to some of these channels that are bots and that are AI and they're cranking this stuff out, yeah, they don't care. But in terms of the people that are on the other side of this stuff, that really wrote the stories, that really narrated them, that really put the work in, now telling them that this has no value and we're not going to pay you for it, and it's been demonetized, that's a gut punch. I mean,
it's a trickle down thing, because we narrate the stories, but we get them from an author. And then once you've reached a certain level, you can start paying authors, so I pay authors, you pay authors, and then eventually, this content wouldn't exist without the back and forth. It's just, it boggles my mind. A lot of the people, like the horror health check is an awesome idea, because a lot of the people that listen to this stuff are kind of, that, not everyone, but, kind of that goth kind of like, or like, darker person, or.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Love that kind of stuff. And then when they hear the feels pastas, like I can't tell you, man, I started screenshotting comments for a while, especially when I was smaller, to like give me motivation to keep going. When someone is like, I get a lot of comments, man, I'm sure you do too, where it's like, I'm 58 years old, I'm on disability,
I've gotten those.
Yeah, I have chronic migraines, or I have horrible depression, and I listen to these, and they just make my day. And I'm like, shit, man, you're trying to make me cry over here listening to something like this. And because I never thought that narrating a story on YouTube would bring someone to that kind of emotion and whatnot. So those comments were helping me when I was getting 100 views, 200 views, and then seeing those comments. A lot of those were motivation for myself to keep going, because this stuff adds value. The writers add value. The narrators add value. And like you said, YouTube saying your shit doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I think it's it's definitely hurtful to a degree. I mean, whether that's to your self-esteem or whatever. I don't like the way it was managed at all. I don't like the way it was managed at all, man. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I was going to ask you about this. We got like a great conversation here, though. It's like
I love it, man. The lack of transparency is a big thing. You just wake up to an email at 3 a.m. saying that your livelihood is gone, and here's your appeal button. And then it's like, okay, but I don't know what I did wrong. You didn't tell me. You gave me 5 bullet points. Every single creator hits one of these points at least. And then on top of the fact, like when they sent those out, there was no email at all. I was like, well, I can't remember when mine got hit, maybe around the 10th or something like that. Yeah, I think it was around the 10th, because I got reinstated like 3 or 4 days before you get paid. So I got reinstated maybe around like the 17th or 18th. And then I'm like, okay, so you took all my money, and then, part of which also goes to paying people. You took all my money for the month, and then I got reinstated a few days before payments went out. But I'm like, they didn't tell me at all. Like, you would think they would at least have an automated message of your earnings were deducted, blah, 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 but they will be reinstated upon the following month. And then, they didn't tell me that they would be reinstated the next month, and that the month previous would also roll into each other. You're just kind of like waiting to see what you get paid for what you did 2 or 3 months ago. No transparency, no follow-ups, no little help this or help that, which is just mind-boggling.
It really is mind-boggling, because a lot of creators don't even know how they got demonetized to begin with, myself included. Have been trying to sort that out, assuming that it's maybe because of the Reddit stuff, reading material I didn't create, using songs that were mine, the highly repetitive content, right, that we've talked about the same, creepypasta rules.
Any channel has to be repetitive.
It has to.
That's how you build a community. It's how you build a following. And, I used to watch all the time when I started like Think Media podcasts or like vidIQ, watching these videos that tell you how to grow a niche in a community and how you need the repetitiveness, because the most important thing in YouTube is the thumbnail and the title of a video. Someone has to know what the content is before they click on it, so your audience knows what it is. And then if you're lucky enough to get an impression through a new viewer, the new viewer has to immediately know what it is. I
do. It's just like, even if it's a cooking channel, I mean, that would be like them saying, well, it's repetitive. It's cooking. It's so unclear about the repetitive part. The reading material, I get that. And the music, okay. That's clear cut. Like, if you didn't make it, but the mass produced and the repetitive part is some gray area there.
But even the music is, Kevin MacLeod and Mayu give all their stuff for free. And that's in YouTube's database of, because so many people use it, that this is free music.
Right.
And then with the reading stuff from forums or websites or Reddit, it's like, but I've seen authors who just narrate their stories for fun that they've never posted get hit. And it's like, how is that guy getting hit? His stuff isn't even on the internet, and he's not linking to anything.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So with this demonetization stuff, is your position currently that most of the narrators that are monetized and even remonetized that they are eventually going to get demonetized. Is that your current position as of right now?
I go so back and forth because on my own, I want to believe that it's just so, even though it's not a huge thing, I'm like, it's still probably hundreds of millions of views a month on creepypastas throughout all the channels. So I'm like, it sounds like it's such a big niche. So I'm like, how can they just destroy the whole thing? You know, just creepypastas alone, when you add in like Reddit, let's meet or let's not meet, then you get into billions of views, you know, because those channels go crazy. So
well, my only thing, not to interrupt you, but they're not saying we can't do it. You know, they're just saying they're not going to pay us for it. Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel like it'll work itself out. Then I listen to some of the evidence you put forth on your videos, and I'm like, damn, man. I'm leaning no, and then I listen to the screenshots and stuff you put out, and I'm like, it really sounds like they're just trying to kill it without overtly saying it.
What have you've enjoyed it, right? The episodes you've liked them?
I cannot tell you how many times, like you've got like 7 videos out already.
Yeah.
I've listened to like all of them like 3 or 4 times. Like I'll be like playing World of Warcraft. I play WoW.
Just like play that shit back.
And I'm like, even your 38-minute video, that's 38 minutes, dog. I listened to that for like 2 hours.
I mean, I tried to put them out like, cause dude, I didn't want to say something and then have somebody be like, no, that was way wrong. You know, I have more videos, like I said, I might just cut this out of our talk or whatever.
Leave it in.
Yeah. I've got more of them. I've got more information actually. By the time I put the story out, I've already sat with the information for like by the time I put the episode out, I've already sat with the information for 3 or 4 days. I've already talked to the Demonetized creator. I've already, you know, I don't want to put it out because I don't want to jump the gun. Right. And then I'm putting out something to my peers in the community that we find out is bullshit later. And dude, that's
the problem with journalism.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I've also called for calm as well, because I have seen in other niches people dropping dimes on each other and shit like that. Like there is possibly a universe, because that's the world, right? Like things happen all the time. Changes happen all the time. Maybe this does get walked back. Maybe there is so much outrage that YouTube weakens its policy somehow. Well, there's a lot of good relationships in this community. There's a lot of strong relationships. And if you do something to somebody or you throw them under the bus with you or something, and this all gets walked back, now look what you've done. You've just made this 10 times worse. You know, some of this, you know, you've just made it's over now, and you've now made it 10 times worse, you know? And so that you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. My position right now, and I don't like it, is that there are probably some narrow pathways for horror narration to continue on YouTube. Obviously, it can continue on other platforms like Spotify. We know that. We know it's allowed. I can upload my scary stories with fire ambience all I want until they tell me no. It's currently allowed. I think there's some narrow pathways that can happen on YouTube right now, but I think it's going to require very high effort. I think the days of just dumping. Yeah, I think the days of dumping, you know, basically the AI model, an hour a day, 2 hours a day. I don't think a human being can create that kind of content without a lot of help and production support. And so I think that I just think ultimately we're going to lose money. Either
I think a lot of smaller guys get squeezed out too.
Yeah, either you're going to have to make less money because it's going to have to, you know, like Darkness Prevails talked about this in his community section about, I could comply with the new policy, but it would cost me so much money to do it. It wouldn't be even it would make so much less, right, that it wouldn't make any sense. So, well, people really pop off. Sorry about Midjourney. People pop off about Midjourney and the AI artwork, and I understand where a lot of that fuss is. And I'm like, let me tell you guys something.
every single creator now uses Midjourney. All right.
Oh, for sure. Everybody.
And you know what was the biggest boon to my channel was the moment I learned how to use Midjourney like 3 years ago, my click-through rate skyrocketed because now I wasn't picking like random stock photos on Google or something like that as the thumbnail.
Well, they couldn't match the story.
Exactly.
So now I'm
generate
matching the
artwork to the
scene.
story.
Yeah, and that's over with, you know?
Yeah, like you'd have to pick like, it could be a creepypasta about like, you know, a bird that transforms into a skeleton. And you're like, how the fuck do I? There's no raven skeleton out there on Google, you know? So now you can now you can actually make it. And just how Darkness was saying was, he's like, guys, you realize to pay artists for this, it would cost, like for him, that would cost thousands a month. So it's like, yeah, I've got, like, even if you pay for thumbnails, this is what's even crazier too. You're looking at like $50 a thumbnail to pay someone on Fiverr or something. And then on top of that, like the person might have no idea what creepypastas are, or you send them what you want it to look like and they hand draw it. That would be like $200 a fucking thumbnail, you know? And then what if they send you something you don't like? Then it's like, oh no.
Or what if you get like a poison pill? Because you would have to have other people, probably more than one person at that scale. What if you get a poison pill? What if somebody says, okay, cool, yeah, I'll do it. And then they're sending you AI artwork and you don't even know it. And you're dropping the shit in your fucking video.
Exactly.
And getting demonetized for it. Like it's so
that's
yeah. So in my view, like we're gonna lose money regardless. Like either, you know, we're gonna continue posting. I mean, I could continue right now posting. I haven't for free. Or you're going to have to put out such high effort horror stories that your wallet's going to suffer at the end of the day for it, basically, that's one of my thoughts, I guess.
Yeah. And then like in my position, I probably, you know, I do my day job like 30 hours a week. And then I do YouTube maybe 15. I probably do my day job 35 hours a week. And then I do YouTube about 15 a week. And then it's like to make videos that wouldn't get caught, that would be like 15 hours for one video. When right now I do 4 videos. So you'd be working triple the amount for a third of the product.
If not more. And then still sitting there wondering, did I get it right?
Hit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, but you're thinking that the monetizations are going to continue through the balance of the year for the most part.
At least in the near future, like at least the next 30 to 90 days. And I didn't think that earlier, but after seeing the stuff that you've uncovered and seeing the stuff that big YouTubers have been told by reps, it doesn't lead to any other thought. It leads to, if they stay on that path, hopefully I'm wrong. If they stay on that path, it just leads to the destruction of the genre.
I happen to agree. Unfortunately, I happen to agree. Tell me a little bit about the Welcome to Hell story that you have on your channel. It's your top video, 122,000 views. Tell me a little bit about that story so that some of my listeners can go enjoy that when they catch our discussion.
So that was actually, man, I don't know if they want to listen to that. I was so bad back then. That's like a 4-year.
Really?
Video.
Is there another one you want me to drop? I can cut that out. Is there another one you want me to drop in here?
No, you know what? We'll touch on that, and then I do have another one.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Same universe too.
Okay. Okay.
So that was written by Life is Strange Me Too, who hasn't posted in I don't know how long. So I covered that story, and it's a comedy pasta. Satan is like a super funny, like chaotic evil kind of guy. And this guy kind of just gets, man, this story is, yeah, a guy goes to hell, I think. And then he goes through like all these like funny versions of torture. It's just littered with comedy throughout. And then him and Satan find a way to like go back to Earth and whatnot and do some stuff. That's a good one. And then I actually, by the same author, Life is Strange Me Too, wrote, and a few channels have covered this, My daughter wrote a letter to Satan. I received a letter back. And I found that story after I did Welcome to Hell. And this is also when I kind of figured out that long stories do the best, because Welcome to Hell is an hour and a half long. And that's basically like the sweet spot of creepypastas. And it's also what I like to consume. Well, I like to consume like 4 or 5 hour stories personally, but 1.5 is like a really good spot. So then I thought that story was so cool that I did My Daughter Wrote a Letter to Satan. And then I liked that story so much that about 9 months ago, I was like, man, that story was so good, but I recorded it like 4 or 5 years ago. And I've like progressed light years, I think, since then, especially in doing character voices and whatnot. Let me redo it. And that's a 5.5 hour story. And that one I love. It's just full of the daughter writes a letter to Satan in her kindergarten class, but she meant to write it to Santa. And it starts off with that. And it starts off with this giant, like, undead fire and brimstone teddy bear that shows up at the doorstep. It's like laughs and gags through the whole thing. It's basically a novella by Life Estranged Me 2, 6 hours long. And it details this young girl's, like, she gets, kidnapped by netherworld forces, and Satan comes down there to help this poor. It's narrated from the dad's point of view. And he just has to go along with like the worst stuff you can imagine, but in funny ways. And he has a succubus as like a nanny for the daughter. And you can guess how a lot of that works out. They go on these escapades to like stop the end of the world. And I love that story. I love it so much that it was 5.5 hours. And I said, screw it. Let me redo the whole thing about 9 months ago. And I love it. And comedy pastas are pretty underrated because they're hard to find. Not many people do comedy pastas. So they're hard to find as a listener and really hard to find as a reader too.
I enjoy them as well. I often like pop in jokes if I can in some of mine. Okay, let me ask you this, because those are some of your top viewed. Do you have a favorite or a couple favorites that you have done, even if they're not as popular, but just something that you thought was just an excellent piece of writing?
A lot of that, I love the question, man. A lot of that goes to, so my favorite creepypasta authors, and just authors in general. So TJ Lee, Elias Witherow, and Woundlicker, Mark Lynch. And I'll give you the reasons real quick why. So the first, it was funny, when I first got back into creepypastas, I started with Dark Somnium, and this was in the Shadowlands expansion, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, for a while. And even though Shadowlands kind of sucked, I get nostalgic about it because it's when I first started creepypastas again. And it's when I listened to a lot of Dark Somnium stuff. And then I kept seeing Feed the Pig pop up. And man, I feel bad because it's actually good, but every time I saw that thumb, you know how sometimes on YouTube you just get hit with the same thumbnail over and over, and you're like, I'm not clicking that damn thumbnail. That video looks whack. I didn't like the title. I thought the image
you're talking about.
You're like, stop serving me this. And the title did not get me. I thought it sounded stupid. And then maybe after like the 20th time it popped up, I was like, you know what? I love Dark Somnium. I'm just going to listen to it. And then I listened to it, and I was just, it's got some of the, gratuitous gore because Elias is kind of like that a little bit. But I thought that was one of like the coolest fucking stories that I've like ever listened to, because Elias, and you don't get as much when you listen to it, but when I went to his No Sleep and started reading, I started to notice all the symbolism beneath everything. Like, Feed the Pig, it's about depression. Obviously, right? That one's pretty on the nose. A guy literally, takes his own life in there, and then he has to pay the price. He has to make the decision, does he regret it enough, and does he want to live badly enough to do whatever Feed the Pig means? And I think about that, and I'm like, on top of that, you're wondering, I think the character Danny, I think his name is, he's like, you go to hell, or you just go to hell after. We don't know.
Outside of YouTube, do you have like a dedicated Reddit sub or Discord? Like, where else can listeners, some of my listeners, where can people connect with you to enjoy your stories? I mean, is it just YouTube, or do you have a Reddit sub? Do you have Discord? Like, do you have other things for them to connect with you on?
So that's something that I wish I started doing a long time ago. Like, I have all of those things, but one thing, like one person I really took notes from mentally when I was building my channel was Lighthouse. You know, I haven't watched him in a long time now, but I used to watch him all the time. Awesome narrator. Sorry, I just can't stand the rule stories. And that's, you know.
A lot of people say that about him. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, and I understand why he does it. And you know why? Because they perform so fucking good, you know? But
yeah, they perform great. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, so I loved his channel before all that stuff. And I liked the few that he did originally, but then like 8 out of 10, a strange list of rules to follow, you know? So then I kind of stopped, but I took notes from him for a long time, which was what does well. Hour and a half or longer does really well. Never break up stories into parts. Never. I noticed that. If it's a 4-hour story, take the extra time, make the audience wait, and upload it in one damn upload. You know, part 1, part 2, part 3, you put all this time into something, and part 1, ton of views. Part 2, 70%. Part 3, 40%. Part 4, people don't even know what the hell's going on anymore, you know?
I've noticed the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I told myself, just take the time, put a filler episode in if you need to, if you don't want to miss an upload. You know, well, what I do now is if I have a long story, I don't even think of uploading that anytime soon. I just work on it like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. When it gets done, it gets done. And then the biggest thing I noticed too was never break immersion. So when you do a video, you got to get straight into the story, because people don't want to click on a new guy. It's all about new people. It's about the new customer, right? You have 3 seconds to keep a new viewer. So get into the story. So I never broke immersion. And I'm like, man, I kind of wish I did at the end a little bit, because I do have a subreddit. I link it in every video, in every description. There's like nobody on it. But, you know, a lot of people send submissions through like email or through Reddit message. I'm terrible at Discord. So I made a Discord like a few months ago, and I just haven't really figured out exactly how to do it. But I do need to get more people in that. I would love, love, love more people to submit stories onto my subreddit page. Especially because that's the easiest thing. Like, you know, submit it to the story, then I don't have to click on anything if I don't know who you are, you know, stuff like that. That's one of the best places. And that's where I keep my notifications on Reddit if anybody messages me. So that'd be an awesome place.
I didn't know. I'm gonna add you on Reddit. Actually, I didn't know you're on Reddit. I like it too, just because I don't have to go find the stories. You know, it's already there. They're ready.
Dude, it takes so long. Like, I'm speed reading stuff, and what I hate is I'll go through No Sleep and I scroll the whole story first because I want to see how long it is, right?
Yeah.
Because I want a long story. I want it at least 40 minutes. And then if it's a long story, I'm like, great. And then I'll speed read the whole thing. And I'm like, this story's fucking awesome. Then you get to the end, and no offense, it might have the worst ending. And I'm like, I just spent 45 fucking minutes reading this to myself.
I know, dude. I'm laughing at me. I know. I honestly, man, like, which is fine. That's with any,
yeah.
Like with music, how many songs you hear until you're like, wow, you know, that's how like hits happen, you know, but like.
And then really it's kind of like a lot of that percent gets made up from the same author or same 5 authors.
Yes. You know? Yep. Christian Wallace, Big Man.
Goodness, yes.
Yeah. I've got a couple where I'm like, everything he puts out is heat, you know, just straight fire. You know, to your point, I look for the same thing, like for length, stuff that's long. I have had people complain that they don't want to hear Creepypasta Rules stuff anymore. I would tell like a lot of, if you go to my channel, I tell like a lot of sex worker stories because nobody wants to tell them. They're petrified of them because they think you're going to get banned. But you
Dude,
don't.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like my highest performing video was the sex doll video. I'm a sex worker for the supernatural. That was a 2.5 hour story. That was wild. It was a wild ass story.
Awesome.
Like some OnlyFans shit.
Dude, I wish I found you before all of this shit. Because once I heard you and heard the voice, I was like, man, this guy's got an awesome voice.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You got a good one too. You got a good one too. A lot of people do. You only rarely, like Professor Pasta. He sounds like not like he's good for it, but like the strange rules of Lady Jade's brothel. That was like one of my first, that because it's a rule story about prostitutes, basically. You know what I'm saying? That shit.
Well, also, I hate this, man. It's so annoying. And like, I don't have any boundaries on stories.
I don't either.
Like me,
yeah,
but
for sure. Oh, well, it's horror. I mean, it's horror. Yeah, I don't either. I'll tell it all. I'll say it all. There's been a couple that have been like, this one story on my channel was probably one of the worst ones I think I ever read. It was, I actually threw shade at Lighthouse in one of my videos. I said, if you wanted to go hear the kitty stories, you should go listen to Lighthouse. If you just listen to the first 20 seconds of it, you'll hear the Motel Astor, the notorious, and I used this clever blacking out technique. I'm going to drop it here in our Discord so you can see what I did with the title. That helped clickability.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just click on that and go to the title, you can see what I did. I blocked it out, and that helped with clickability.
And like, I don't like dude, I don't like trigger warnings, right? But yeah, trigger warnings are annoying, but if you don't put them, people freak. I hate, like, you can't say, like, I'll still say suicide in a video, even though I know YouTube hates it, but the censoring has gotten crazy.
People complain about that. I've actually had a lot of complaints specifically about suicide specifically. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my videos, because I like to read the stories with a meaning, a lot of my videos deal with suicide because I think it's something that should be talked about. And if you do it well, it leaves the reader feeling something. But yeah, it's a tough thing to do, right?
Yeah, it should be talked about. It shouldn't be just a secret. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, YouTube makes a mockery out of it.
We're living in weird times.
When you have to say sewer slide and shit like that, you have to say SA instead of sexual assault. It's like you realize the censoring actually makes it sound like a joke now because you can't even talk about it properly.
I swear, dude, I say whatever. I mean, even in my episodes, like,
they're perfect. I love when you say something like, I don't give a fuck.
No,
it cracked me up because I'm like, yeah, someone speaking like real right now.
I had Mr. Spook message me the other day. He was like, you're saying everything everybody's thinking, don't you?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, probably, And like,
I'd like to think because of what we talk about, we already swear in a lot of our stuff. So people are just like, it's there when they hear it in your regular voice, it's almost like a teacher swearing at first, but then they're like, oh, but this is a normal guy. Like, yeah, keep going. Even if it was like my favorite creator stopped uploading stories and did what you're doing, I couldn't be grateful enough because I'm like, if he doesn't want it, well, that, and I'm like, no one is speaking about it. So
I know. Nobody.
All.
Yes.
It's like, and I did this too. It's like you get demonetized, you make your demonetization video.
Yep.
And then you shut up about it. And that's what I did. I made one video about it, asking for support in that video. And then it's like, that's it. And everyone else and the big guys. But, I'm surprised that more people aren't in comment sections because talking about the big ones who have been hit that haven't talked about it yet, because I know when I got hit, every single member got an email.
What do you mean?
So when you get demonetized, and I'm assuming this applies to every channel, when I got demonetized, and I put my demonetization video out. It took me like 5 days to make that video. I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to make the video at all in the first place.
Yeah.
And then I put that video out, and people were commenting immediately. Oh, I knew something was wrong. YouTube sent me an email saying my membership had been paused.
Yes. I had members, terminated all of them.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, so even the big guys who aren't vocal about it, people who are members have to know.
Yes. I didn't even think about that until you just said that. Yeah, they would have to, because they would be over. Yeah. I'm
waiting to see in comments on people saying who the big guys are that have been hit, that are silent.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I think part of them. I haven't had enough. I need one of these to go off. Like, it needs to shoot out there.
One of them will, absolutely. One of them
Eventually.
Of them is gonna. I know one of them is gonna, because like a lot of the people, a lot of people I see, they have like 2,000 subs, and their demonetization video got like 30,000 views.
I know.
So I'm like, one of these is gonna take off.
Yeah, because I just keep piping up about it, and
yeah,
and I just keep letting it fly. And
your comments are good too.
Oh, dude, I've gotten more comments on these than like, I'll put out a video, dude, I'll put out an episode, dude, I'll get like 100 or 150 comments on like my scary story for 1,000 views. On my scary stories, I might get like 20.
Right,
for the same views.
Exactly.
So much more engaging, because it's like bad news maybe, and people gravitate to the negative. I don't know. I don't know, but my engagement has shot through the roof, just by doing it. I didn't know what else to do, man, because I'm like, I don't feel comfortable putting the stories out. I got to pivot. And you said something, I want to ask you about this. You are right about the demonetization video, and then that's it. Why do you think that more people have not selected my path? They could. Why do you think that they don't, that are demonetized? Obviously, this question doesn't apply to you because you're monetized, but for those that are demonetized currently, you can move forward.
Yeah, I think it really is as simple as people don't want to rock the boat.
That's what you could be right. Like the YouTube vote or the community vote? The
YouTube vote, yeah, because the community is on people's side, especially since before, like a few months ago. And I remember you said this too, and I was thinking the same thing. People didn't want to talk about it because people thought that if they spoke about it, then they were going to be accused of using AI, and that's why they got demonetized. Now, enough real people have been hit that people see the pattern of, real people are getting hit, and it's not AI use. So people were scared at first because they didn't want to be falsely accused. And now enough people have been hit that that's not a problem. So the community responds well and is on the creator's side. But I think the really big ones also, it's just like they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. Why make a fuss about it? Why make a big stink? And then YouTube takes, vengeance upon you for getting loud about it, and then everyone else might get welcomed back, but then they leave your channel in the dark.
You could be right. I mean, and I don't even know if YouTube would do anything. I mean, we're already demonetized, but for those that are not, this is still playing out. Like we don't know. Could this change paths? Could it weaken? Could it ramp up and like just nuke all of us before the year's over? You know what I'm saying? Like, could I wake up one day and my channel just terminated?
Some are getting terminated.
Some are. I know, dude. Yes, some are. That's a fact. Some are.
And it's like you just wake up one day and then your favorite creator's gone and you have no idea why.
Yeah. So Nightmare Files, he had 234,000 subs, and so did Mr. Davis. He had 212,000 subs. Both of those channels were terminated. They're gone.
What?
Gore Creature 212. He had 13,000. I've been writing them down. The Lizard Queen, she had 9,000. Her channel was terminated. The Last Lodge channel terminated. Veristal, no, pardon me. Mr. Junior Sinister terminated. Ghosty Mist terminated. There's been straight up terminations now. Like that's one of the reasons why I've thought about if this somehow shifts and it becomes, because we're all hoping that it tempers down a little bit. right? That maybe we get a little leeway, maybe we get
Right.
reinstated, maybe this goes away. It also could shift the other way and get hot. And what if this AI stuff continues, this horror stuff, and it just continues just pounding YouTube daily with, YouTube might just say, you know what? No more. And we're terminating channels and we're deleting the show. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a leap, but I'm just saying maybe, I don't know. I don't know what could happen.
Well, and then, like I was telling you through chat the other day is, and I noticed this because I've had YouTube Premium for like ever since it rolled out because I need background play, and you only get that through Premium, which is super annoying. Funny story, like 10 years ago, I had a phone and I didn't have Premium, and I would listen. This is before they had apps for like rain sounds, or maybe they had them and I didn't know. So I was YouTubing thunderstorms at night, but I had to leave my phone on. And then one day I looked at my phone. It was like a white screen on my phone, and I saw the YouTube buttons and logo burned into my phone. And I was like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh, it's because I'm leaving YouTube on in the same position all night, and I don't have background play. So I got background play to fix that.
Okay. Wow.
So I've had Premium for like ever now. If you had Premium like 6 or 7 months ago, I noticed they have the Ask Summary AI, and you could have like a 4-hour video, and you'd be like, okay, when do Mr. Grinless and Nightmares Nightly speak about X? And it will give you timestamps of exactly when they speak about one subject or this subject, because the YouTube transcribes your entire video, and then the AI can search through it and give you timestamps on exactly where it happens. So I'm like, YouTube is transcribing these videos, and now I think every user has it. I think they rolled it out to non-premium people too a couple of weeks ago.
The other thing I thought about too, with why some people have not gotten hit yet, what if they have? What if they've already been matched and hit, and they know it's a hit, but enforcement is currently delayed? Like, what if YouTube already has it? Yeah, they've already got them pegged. Like, yo, that one. And then they just take a certain amount offline. And then in a month, then the enforcement comes. Like there's odds are they could have already matched you by now.
I've had comments similar to that. And I'm like, people saying almost the same thing. And I'm like, well, that would get rid of like almost everybody, because
pretty much
think about, I haven't done it, but dude, it takes, not to mention like, I've fucked around with ChatGPT. It takes like 3 minutes to write an 8,000 word story.
Literally, I've tried it too. Yeah, it's like within minutes. And then you put that in 11 Labs, voice clone, boom, you could be done in minutes. Yeah.
And then if you do 10 stories a day, you don't care that much about your thumbnail, it's something passable. Takes you 5 minutes a thumbnail, upload that shit to YouTube. One of them, the thing is upload every single fucking day. Something's gonna hit
eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like, dude, this is like, obviously I'm a purist. I enjoy it, but I'm like, I'm getting like lapped on the track.
Oh, big time. And we started 5 years ago. And it's like a guy that started 9 months ago
is killing
at
me.
50K.
Yeah. Like it's beating my ass. Like it's not even close. And, and it's like, at what point I'm 90% pissed about this, 90% upset, but there is a little 10% of me that's like, I'm a little bit relieved to just move to the podcast format, leave it alone, put the stories on Spotify when I want to, and just be done with this shit on YouTube specifically because of that. I cannot physically bang out enough content to compete with the AI creators that are on YouTube. I can't. It's not possible.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
You can't even find that many stories.
No, it's impossible. So at a certain point, like I'm like, the podcast, it's as authentic as it gets. It's me. It's just me, hot mic, letting it fly. It's my opinion. And I I don't have to hunt anybody down. I don't have to pay for anything, a license. I don't have to ask for permission. Like I just, boom, thumbnail, upload, so I'll still get to do the stories, but there is a part of me that is like not devastated that part's over. I'm not happy about this for sure, but that's one thing that's been like crossing my mind, now that I've sat here for 2 weeks to monetize, thinking like, I wasn't going to win that war anyways, because there's so many AI channels. I can't compete. I can't.
I think there's no rhyme or reason to winning the appeal also.
I don't either. I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
I love TJ's awesome. He put out some videos on how to win the appeal. I love that TJ did that, but I'm like, I don't think it does anything. I think winning your appeal is luck of the fucking draw.
I do too. I think it's totally random. I think it's whoever is sitting there evaluating it and they make a decision. And because otherwise, why would Chilling get evaluated and reapproved and then taken down again weeks later? It's the same. Yeah. This fucking channel is the same as it was 2 weeks ago.
Yep. And then I know people that have put in, what's crazy too is I'll listen to some of these demonetization videos. I recognize all the creators who have been hit. Like one guy, and he sent me an email too. I know you've seen him probably, Hong Kong Horror.
Oh yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah, he's demonetized.
Yeah, and I see him in every YouTube comment section of like, my channel got demonetized, and he's like, me too, man. And like, I recognize all of these people that have been hit and that have done exactly what TJ offers in the appeal, which is show them your process, let them know that you're real. And these people aren't getting remonetized. I'm like, what? And then you said, let me know if I got this right. In a few weeks, months or sooner, your channel will have like 15 videos on it.
So here's what I'm doing. I have about, what I'm going to do is I have about 50 shorts loaded right now. I'm going to chop my podcast up. Each episode will get chopped up into 6 shorts. Okay. I believe that I have got 90-day run rate. I've got 75 days left.
Right.
So if I can put out a episode every other day, I should be able to get out about 45 to 50 episodes. And then I should probably have somewhere between 200 to 300 shorts. But it's completely my voice. There is no reading. There is no story. Sunday, I've got a Spotify announcement video that I'm putting out, so everybody will know that's officially what's happened. But yeah, so when I reapply, it's going to be straight up podcast, dude. That's it.
Okay.
I'm done. Yeah.
Are you using a special software that does your whole YouTube thing, or?
Audio Boom. Yeah, it distributes everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, like 10 different Amazon Music.
So you can like press YouTube, go to Spotify, and it will do.
Yeah, so you just go to Audio Boom and then you create an account and you pay like $120 for the year. And then you put in the episode and then it'll shoot it out to like
to all of them,
50 different yeah, like it's a complete turnkey solution. You don't have to do shit. I had used that. I haven't put it on there in a while. Like if you search Mr. Grinless Audio Boom in Google, it should still be there. I'm not doing that at this point in time because I don't want to continue that. I want to just have the YouTube podcast, and then I just want to have the Spotify for the stories. I'm going to start getting a little more picky about how I go about this. I need to figure out which one's going to pay the most and how I can get monetized first. And to me, that looks like Spotify. To me, that's what that looks like.
Have you done anything to Spotify yet?
Yeah, I used to shoot out the pot. I used to shoot out the old stories via Audio Boom to Spotify, but I haven't used it in like 4 or 5 months. And you will lose monetization if you're not posting. So right now I'm not monetized.
And then what's the average like length of videos you put out? Like around that 35, not including the recent ones?
Well, they've gotten shorter. I used to put out long videos, but I stopped. I kind of started giving up on it a little bit because I could not, I started going to more like 30-minute videos because I wasn't seeing enough frequency to beat the AI people, you know?
It's
So I started putting out like,
man.
yeah. So if you look at like my channel a year, 2 years ago, lots of long stories, you know, hour plus, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour. But over the last 6 months, I started moving to 30-minute stories. You know, and the other thing, man, is I do it authentically. I do it myself. I don't use 11 Labs. I don't steal stories. I do it myself. I have good relationships in the community. I didn't do anything, you know, and so you know, it wasn't, you know, if I want to be done, then I'm going to make the decision when I'm done. I ain't gonna have them time, you know, telling me I'm just kicked out of the program for what? I've been here for 5 years.
Right?
I don't have any strikes. Yeah, I mean, the fuck.
I'll tell you, Spotify is not bad. I had no idea. Now, because I've been uploading to Spotify for like 6 months.
Are you monetized?
I just got monetized in April. I didn't think it was going to be like that.
I didn't either. The whole Spotify thing was a default play. Like that's the option. You know, you know, but yeah, I mean, I have heard from other horror creators good things about it so far. Now, in you know 2 years, is that still going to be the case? I mean, I don't know. If everybody moves over there, then maybe not.
Yeah. That's why I want to upload to Rumble, but I did that for like 2 months a while ago, and I got like 2 watch hours. But Rumble,
yeah, I don't think
might be
much.
the play now. I still don't think it is. I think Spotify's going to be the big dog, but if you're a first mover to a platform, you know.
Do you know what the Sleepless Watchdogs is?
Oh, when I first started, even though I did everything correctly, I was checking that thing all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, please don't be on there, even though I'm 100% doing stuff the right way.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, tomorrow about 5 o'clock, I'm dropping a post from the Sleepless Watchdogs. There are multiple. I just dropped one in your Discord chat. There are
I just saw them talk about it.
Yeah, tons of them, dude. Like,
how do they feel?
They're on top of this. Huh?
Because I think they're against the demonetizations too, because they know that they're not going to get as much work.
Yeah, they're not going to get paid.
But I saw some people in the comments, like you have some of these people who are like, serves them right. Some of them steal stories. And it's like,
I know.
That is 100% true. And fuck those guys. But most of the, I mean, I don't know most. A lot of people do, I guess. But there's still enough that are doing it by the book.
Well, here's the thing about that. This is fucking everywhere now. It is all over X, YouTube. Yep. It's in the Sleepless Watchdogs forum. And
they almost never post anymore, too. But I think enough people now, or maybe it's another more month or something like that. I think enough people will be like, well, because you and I were saying that we think people are scared to say it because they'll be called AI.
Yeah, right.
But I think enough people now are like, okay, wow. People who I know don't use AI are getting hit, but like it is like a mark on your channel almost if you say it.
Like I said, some of the stuff, like I can't tell how it's landing, you know?
I don't think anybody at all, especially narrator wise, would be against what you're doing. And because I can't imagine you're like the one voice literally in the darkness right now. You're like
the only person I know.
Dude, it's like, back in like the 20s when, Ford is doing all this crap and then no one wants to speak out about bad pay or whatever. And it's like, you're the one guy who's like, we need to do something about this or we're screwed forever, basically.
I watched this one video the other night, dude. You should watch it. I'm gonna send it to you. It was incredible. It was about synth IDs. It was about matching synth IDs. And it also purported that YouTube is going to likely do mass demonetizations in June and July.
Oh.
It's only a 9-minute video. That's an incredible video. I watched it twice. Oh, what's this here? Let me see this one you sent me. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw him doing this.
Yeah, people trying to change their
He's
stuff
just
before it's too
recording this
late.
shit. Yeah, he's scared. He wouldn't be doing this if he wasn't worried about this, man. He's scared.
Even I want to start doing like face cam readings, but I still don't think that will work. And then also I punch and roll edit. How do you edit?
I use Premiere Pro.
So when I read a story, if I make a mistake, I instantly fix it right there. And then so that way by the time when I'm done reading a story, there's no editing left.
Oh, no. So I read the story and then I edit it. I cut the whole audio and then I load it into Premiere Pro and then I listen to it back and then I edit it.
So I'll tell you something that I'm not even exaggerating. 10x my workflow was, say I'm reading and then I walked into the bar and I was met with I'm like, fuck. I go back to, I walked into the bar, I click that, and then I pick up right there where I made the mistake. And I go, I walked into the bar and I was met with a horrid smell. So that way it's fixed immediately. And then when I'm done reading, there's no editing at all. Story's done. Compress, EQ, declick, that's it.
That's interesting.
Just YouTube punch and roll. Because now I don't have to even listen to the story again. Because I know, like, there's no
it's fixed
fuck ups. Yeah. Because if I get tongue tied or my tongue squishes and makes a nasty noise, I just stop, pick up right before the sentence, and it's done. It's fixed right there.
That's pretty good, and it's shortened it for you. Well, Nightmares Nightly, I really appreciate you coming on here, man. I really appreciate you offering us all your thoughts on this matter and all of the things that have went on with your channel and growing your audience. Is there anything else you want to let anybody know? Anything you want listeners to know before we close out?
Not really. Just kind of keep an eye on it. Give creators some grace when you see some creators that are being hit by it, because so many real, authentic creators are getting hit by this, and some of them are getting blasted by people who don't even know them in the comments, saying, just automatically accusing people of AI or saying you get what you deserve, or the whole thing of don't throw your eggs in one basket. It's like YouTube is the only basket. Spotify is the next one, and it's not even a quarter of the size of YouTube. YouTube's basically a monopoly, honestly. Thank you for having me, man. This was awesome. I love the talk, and thank you for making these videos, because nobody is.
I appreciate you, man. There's going to be more of them. And just so everybody knows, Nightmares Nightly is going to be back on the channel again. This is not his only appearance. I'm going to have some more guests on, but Nightmares Nightly will absolutely be back on the channel. All right, listen, dude, it's a pleasure speaking with you, man. It really is. I'm glad we got to talk. And we will do another. I've got some other format ideas as well that I'm going to do. I've been trying to get through all this shit because I've got episodes done right now. Like they're just waiting to shoot out, and then the shorts. But I want to do more of these.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, definitely.
I want everybody who's here to make sure you're supporting him. Go to his YouTube channel, hit subscribe, go to his Patreon, join his Patreon, follow him on Spotify, do all of those things. He's a fantastic creator and a good human being and an important member of this community. So please go support Nightmares Nightly. And on that note, you guys, I greatly appreciate all of your time. I hope this continues to help your situation, and I will see you all on the next one. Just
dude,
like
you're
that,
a natural at this, bro. You're a natural.
I've gotten better at it.
Are you you look like you've been doing this since the Joe Rogan era.
I've gotten better at it, dude. I've gotten better at it. I opened the polling one with me singing a song.